Well, hello, football fans. Let's talk about today's games. And as I said this morning, the games at 1 o'clock would be terrible, and they were. I mean, we'll start with the Rams and Jaguars, which I was the most disappointing game of the day. I thought this would be a good game. The Rams dominated this game from start to finish. They win the London game 35-7. Horrible, horrible game. Bears and Saints 26-14. The Bears win. That game was, I don't know. It was watchable. That's the best I could say with it. The Patriots and Titans. That was a good game until about the middle of the third quarter. Of course, my boy Cam Ward, who played at the University of Miami last year, had a good year, is having a bit of a tough freshman year. After the Patriots went ahead 24-13, next drive, Cam Ward goes back to throw a pass. His arm is back, fumbles the ball. Patriots return it. That was the final score of the game. That is all they needed. The Patriots are win 31-13, and they are a much improved team from last year. All right, the Chiefs and Raiders. I knew that was going to be a trouble game, and it was worse than I thought it'd be. 31-0. The Browns and Dolphins, which I thought could be a good game because they were both 1-5. It wasn't. Browns win 31-6. And of course, then they got the Jets, who are now 0-7. They lose 13-6 at the Meadowlands to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are now 1-3 in a row. I thought they were the worst team going 3 weeks ago. Not anymore. And then the one game which I gave hope that could be a good game, and it was the Eagles and Vikings. Eagles win 20-22. The key in this game was the Vikings were in the red zone 6 times and came away with 5 field goals. That would not beat the Eagles. If just he has been able to score at least one more touchdown, they win this game. And then we go to 4 o'clock games. Cowboys and Commanders was disappointing, 44-22. The Packers and Cardinals was a pretty good game. Packers win this one 27-23. With the, let's see. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that game either. Well, we could talk about it, I guess. Jacobs scored the late touchdown with 4 minutes left in the game. Game, though, hand in hand. It was Cardinals dominated on the time possession, 34-26. In fact, the Cardinals dominated everything, but the one turnover they had, turning the pack of points, a touchdown, that is all they needed. That was the big play of that game. Now, another game I thought would be good but was disappointing was the Colts and the Chargers. The Colts, this game was not as close as the score indicated, but the Colts dominated. Daniel Jones, once again, is having had an epic game. 23-34, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 122.48 quarterback rating. The number coming in this game was the number 19. 19, what does that stand for? It stands for the combined sacks they've given up, the Colts, this year, the number of punts they've done, and the number of sacks they have allowed. That is the best at this point in the season since the Super Bowl era has begun. The other thing is the dramatic improvement on offense with Daniel Jones is the best since 1970 in terms of average yards per game, points per game, everything. Daniel Jones is having an MVP type season. And again, I'm going to say it again, Giant fans. The offensive line was the problem and not Daniel Jones. Same to the Jet fans. I understand why you wanted Aaron Rodgers to go goodbye. He was a bit of a cancer. I get it. But then you see Sam Darnold progress, doing great in Minnesota and Seattle now. And today, they pulled Justin Fields out of the game to bring in Tyrod Taylor, a veteran quarterback who also played with the Giants. And I have been saying, Justin Fields is not a bad quarterback, but he's not playing a good team. And again, back to Brian Dabol. We saw today the most epic regular season collapse ever. Now, if someone could prove me wrong, please do. As a Giants fan, I am not proud of this. I don't like it. For a regular season collapse, you would have to go back, if you're a Giant fan old enough, to the Miracle of the Meadowlands. I think it was 1979 or 1978. When Joe Pisarcik fumbled the ball to Larry Zonka and Herman Edwards ran in to give the Eagles what was an improbable win. Then you would have to go back to the late first decade of the 2000s, again the Eagles, where the Giants blow a 21-point lead the fourth quarter and see Deshaun Jackson win it on a punt return for a touchdown when all he had to do was kick the ball out of bounds. But today, when you're leading 19-0 and you're leading 28-6 in the fourth quarter, that was about 8 minutes to go, and you watch your defense give up 33 points in the fourth quarter. Did Brian Dabol have a Coach McVay moment? Did he have a James Franklin of Penn State moment? Should he be fired tomorrow? The only reason why he's not going to be fired tomorrow is because Jackson Dart continues to impress. Jackson Dart gave the Giants what they needed today, and even after they blew the lead, Jackson Dart got him down for the go-ahead touchdown. But there was a sequence when the Giants were up. I think it was 20-13. It's about over 5 minutes left in the game. All they had to do was run the football and make the Broncos use their 3 timeouts. And the one big mistake Jackson Dart did was to throw a bad interception, which led to a Bronco touchdown, which brought the Broncos within a touchdown of being able to take the lead. If the Giants had just run the ball, we're not talking about this epic collapse today. But there was 2 other things today, actually 3, that were just frustrating. One is we paid a ton of load of money for kicker Graham Gano. And Graham Gano has become very, very injury prone. So the Giants go out and get Jude McAltomney. And he misses not 1, but 2 extra points today. If he makes those 2 extra points, again, along with that sequence of not being able to run the ball, we're not talking about this. And then, because he missed the first extra point, Brian Dabol decided on one scoring sequence to go for 2. And he missed it. So now you're talking about 3 points. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't care what the analytics say. You never go for 2 unless you have to. And being that we had a nice lead, why do you need the extra point you missed for? Just take what you can get. And they didn't. So that's 3 plays, 3 points right there. Between that sequence and watching the defense collapse, I mean, the Broncos needed everything to go right today, and the Giants to go wrong. And that's what exactly happened. The only other game I can think about in Giants history like this were two playoff games. A wildcard game against the Minnesota Vikings, going back to the Danny Cannell days when he was quarterback. I watched that epic collapse. And the 2004 wildcard game against the 49ers, which I think we had a 24-point lead. I think the start of fourth quarter, and we blew that game as well. Both those games, I think, were under the Jim Fossil era, I believe. I know the 2004 one was Jim Fossil. The other one might have been Dan Reeves. I'm not really sure. Doesn't matter. The loss was brutal. And if you're a Giant fan, I'm going to say it again. The curse of MetLife Stadium. Fans, let me know what you think. Put your comments down below. Should Brian Dabol be fired? You give him a pass because Jackson Dart's doing good. But the problem is, you're watching Daniel Jones flourish in Indianapolis. This is a game they should have won. The Cowboy game they could have won. They could have won the Redskin game. They blew the game against the Saints. This team is not very disciplined. I mean, the Giants are now what, 2-4 or 2-5, and they could be easily be 5-2, or at least 4-3. And considering how tough the Giants' schedule has been this year, Brian Dabol has to be kicking himself. He has to be sitting in his office right now, in the dark, by himself, with his cell phone off, his landline up the hook, and he just told everyone, leave me the F alone. I don't want to be bothered. Alright, fans, we'll be back tomorrow. We have 2 Monday games tomorrow. I know we got the good one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Lions will play the first game to kick off at 7 o'clock p.m. And then we have a Texans and Seahawks game at 10 p.m. East Coast time. So we'll be back for the Tuesday morning quarterback on Tuesday. And until then, everyone, you all have a good night.